As the holidays approach, I want to say welcome and thank all of my good friends for coming back to the Juicebox Podcast over and over again. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Skin Grip, durable, skin-safe adhesive that lasts. Your diabetes devices, they can fall off easily sometimes, especially when you're bathing or very active. When those devices fall off, your life is disrupted and it costs you money. But Skin Grip patches, they keep your devices secure. Skin Grip was founded by a family directly impacted by type 1, and it's trusted by hundreds of thousands of individuals living with diabetes. Juicebox Podcast listeners are going to get 20% off of their first order by visiting skingrip.com/juicebox. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. The episode you're about to enjoy was brought to you by Dexcom. The Dexcom G7, the same CGM that my daughter wears. You can learn more and get started today at my link, dexcom.com/juicebox. Today's episode is also sponsored by Omnipod 5. Omnipod 5 is a tube-free automated insulin delivery system that's been shown to significantly improve A1C and time in range for people with type 1 diabetes when they've switched from daily injections. Learn more and get started today at omnipod.com/juicebox. At my link, you can get a free starter kit right now. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. I am not going to stop you.
Okay, I'm not great at that kind of thing. Is there like a template for introductions?
Oh, that's so interesting. This is now your introduction.
Okay, great.
What's your name?
Cecilia.
Oh, yeah, you're the reason I've been singing that song all morning.
Yep, I get that all the time.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I know it probably happens to you all the time, but it 100% has happened to me today.
That's quite all right.
Maybe because, oddly enough, when my son was a baby, it was one of the songs that made him comfortable when he couldn't sleep.
That's funny. You got to do what you got to do.
That one, and the other one was a Beatles song. I'd let you guess, but that would be boring. It was Blackbird.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good one.
I used to sit with him when we first moved into our place. We didn't have a lot of stuff yet. And so I would take him to this quiet room. It was kind of like a loft, and that's being generous. There was a small loft in a condo that we got that we never used because it was so small it was unusable. And on the other side of it was a storage room, like literally a storage room that I made my office in. So I would basically go upstairs, go into a large closet where my computer was. I'd lay him across my lap, rub his back, and play Blackbird until he fell asleep.
Oh.
And now it makes me cry every time I hear it.
Oh, I would be the same way.
Yeah, so I can't even listen to the song. It's ruined the song for me.
Right.
Anyway, Cecilia, what are you doing here? You have a kid with type 1? You have type 1 yourself? What are we finding out today?
My daughter has type 1. She is 9, and she was diagnosed almost a year ago. It was October 9th.
Oh, very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh, just a year and a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. Other kids?
I have a son. He is a couple years older than her.
Okay. You still married? No? Yes?
Yes. We've been married for, it's too early for math, since 2012.
Oh, that's fun. At least you knew the year.
Yeah. He's deployed right now, so my brain's all over the place.
What does your husband do for us?
He's in the Army.
Yeah. How long's he been in?
15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're at getting to the end.
I was going to say, is he looking for a job?
Not yet.
No.
He's got his last couple. I think we have one duty station after this, and then retirement from the Army.
What's he going to retire as?
Right now, he's a master sergeant, so he doesn't think he'll make sergeant major, but we'll see.
Oh,
we'll see.
Sounds like you think he will.
I think he's pretty good at his job. I always think he's going to do better than he does, but he's pretty humble.
Oh, that's very nice. Okay. So how long's he been gone? Like, what kind of chunks does he leave for, I guess is my question.
It depends. This time is a longer time, about a year. So
he's been gone about a year. Wait, was he?
Well, no. He's going to be gone about a year. We're not even halfway yet.
So he was around when your daughter was diagnosed.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, do you want me to talk about how we figured it out, or?
What do you want to talk about?
I mean, we can talk about how she got diagnosed because I don't know. I didn't know a whole lot about it.
You're so amenable. This is. I'm not accustomed to this. I will. I say to my wife all the time, I should have married a more amenable person.
Well, it's, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, yeah, but you're like, what would you like? And then that froze me because I was like, oh gosh, no one ever asked me that.
No, I don't know what I'm doing. So you're the pro, but no, she was.
Yeah, tell me about it. Like that.
Looking back now, I know what all of these things were.
Okay.
But she started getting really agitated just randomly, or what I thought was randomly. And I'm talking like, I don't know. It was like she was suddenly uncontrollable, but it wasn't all day, every day. And I thought, well, maybe she's just hanging out with some kids at school that maybe she shouldn't be hanging out with, or maybe she's just really frustrated. We couldn't figure it out. And then it turned into every night, oh, my stomach really hurts. My stomach really hurts. Well, she's always been my kid that's had a little bit of anxiety. And I thought she was just trying to get out of bedtime. Mm-hmm. And then it turned into one day she got home from school. We were picking her up in the car line. And she said, I really need you to start packing me some more water. I was like, what? You're not my water drinker. Like, we had just moved to South Carolina. It's a lot hotter here than where we came from. And I thought, oh, well, you're finally listening to us. My kids don't want to drink water. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh, maybe you're finally listening to us and you're just thirsty. Mind you, the water bottle that she brings to school is, I think it's 24 ounces. Traditionally, she'd maybe drink half of it all day. She started going through 2, 3, 4 of them a day. And I thought, that's kind of weird. My husband and I looked at each other like, huh. And now it should be noted that I have bad anxiety myself and I have OCD, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. This is the worst case possible. And so I thought, well, you're just being weird about it. Don't overthink it. And it just started tumbling into one thing to the next. And she was my kid that didn't eat much either, and you could not get enough chicken nuggets into this girl. You couldn't get enough cereal. Whatever it was, it wasn't enough. And I told my husband, I was like, do you think this is weird? He was like, yeah, a little bit, but maybe she's growing. And I started comparing pictures, and I was like, well, it looks like she's lost a little weight. But again, I just chalked it up to a growth spurt. Mm. Didn't think anything of it. And then there was a couple of times that she had a couple of accidents, and I'm like, she go, oh, I just laughed too hard. And again, she's my kid that has always waited to the last second to go to the bathroom. So all these things I wrote off to just being something else, not really thinking about diabetes. And then one day it just hit me in my gut, and I was like, I think this is what this is. And so I went on TikTok and I started looking, well, how much water is too much water? Trying to find anything I could to talk myself out of it being what it was. Yeah. I have 2 autoimmune diseases myself, and my husband's side of the family does have type 1.
Okay.
Should I have been surprised? No. And so I remember calling my dad. He was a firefighter for years and years and years. And so he's been to people's houses who have low blood sugar or whatever. And I was like, hey, do you know anything about this? He said, no, but you should take her to get her checked. Okay. Smart. We go to the primary care. I tell her what my concerns are, and she's kind of like waving me off a little bit, probably thinking that I'm just, crazy mom. She was like, but it's no problem. We'll check her finger. No big deal. She leaves. The medical assistant comes in, and I'm standing next to my daughter. She pokes her finger, who my daughter, by the way, is like an anxious mess at this point because we don't go to the doctor in this house. Okay. So we're going, something is wrong. She checks her finger and the meter just reads high. And I look at my husband like, oh, yeah. And we went to the emergency room.
I have a bunch of questions.
Sure.
How old are you?
37.
37. Mm-hmm. When you wanted information about drinking water, you went to TikTok?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
No, I don't know that it is. I'm trying to, but it's not what would occur to me. So how do you search TikTok for that information?
I don't remember exactly what I did, but I think I put in like signs of type 1 diabetes, and I tried to figure out, I was going through people's videos to try and see, when they were saying, this is how I got diagnosed, I was hoping to find like a concrete amount of water that people were drinking to say, okay, that's an excessive amount. I didn't know what that was. Okay. And I thought, well, this is an excessive amount for her, but is it so excessive that I should be worried? I was just trying to find, and I went to Facebook. I searched everything.
You were all over the place. Okay.
All over the place. And she had a friend in her first grade class who was type 1. And I messaged his mom and I said, hey, when he got diagnosed, how much water was he drinking? And she I mean, she didn't remember anymore at that point. It had been a year or two for her, but I was everywhere and anywhere looking for something.
Okay. What made you think diabetes initially? Just because it was in the family, or did something about the peeing bring it up for you?
The water and the hunger. And then I started putting all of the little signs together. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm an anxious mess about everything, but this was different. Like once I knew. Mm-hmm. And when they told me, I was not surprised.
You have other autoimmune issues. So what do you have?
Yes.
Hypothyroidism?
Yes, I have Hashimoto's and celiac.
Celiac. Oh, this was going to be my guess as you ruined it. I was going to look awesome. And you have anxiety?
Yes.
Like diagnosed?
Yes.
You do something about it?
I have Zoloft and therapy.
Okay. Is it helping?
100%.
When you said you have OCD, do you meant diagnosed, or you just meant and how does it manifest mostly?
A lot of rumination and like worst case scenario, what if? And then in my head, I'm like, okay, well, you know that you're doing this, kind of knock it off thing. It's not like an outward, I have to lock the car 4 times or. You're
not counting or taking steps
Correct.
Or retracing your steps or something like that. Okay. Well, perfect for your husband to be in a war zone. That's a great thing for you.
True. Well, luckily he's not in a dangerous spot right now. Okay. So thank God for that.
I mean, really?
I know.
All your life?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else in your family have that going on? Your mom, your dad, sisters, brothers?
No,
just you. Did they
just
have
me.
any autoimmune stuff? Your mom have Hashimoto's?
No.
Okay.
Well, I should say neither of them have anything that they ever knew about.
No, fair enough. Anybody pooping a lot after Thanksgiving dinner?
You know, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
You don't see people running off to the bathroom after food?
No.
Okay. I'm going to take a big swing here. Is there any bipolar in your extended family?
Yes.
Okay. And on your husband's side, there's type 1. So you guys have like a perfect mix to make a baby with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, you know, as they were growing up, when we went to the pediatrician and got their vaccines or whatever, and I would say, hey, is this something I need to worry about? No. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Any PCOS in your family?
No, not that I know of.
Not that you know of. You don't have any trouble making those babies or anything like that?
No, I only have 2 kids, but the rest of them,
Gotcha.
They're doing fine.
All right. Okay, I got it. So I have all the information I was interested in from that part. So you're the meter, high blood sugar. Sorry, I'm going to get you back on track.
That's okay.
And then you end up at the emergency room?
Yeah, we went to Children's.
What was that blood sugar like? Were you there for days or was it a quick one?
We got there around 3:00 and they got her upstairs by, of course, we were coming in at shift change. So it took a little bit longer. She was admitted around 8:30 to the floor.
Mm-hmm. They keep her for how long?
We were discharged the next morning straight to endocrinology, which was across the parking lot.
Oh, okay. So not much in the way of like her blood sugars weren't too high. She wasn't in DK, obviously, like that kind of stuff you had gotten ahead of.
I couldn't tell you. I'm assuming no. Her blood sugar was 636 and her A1C was 10 something, but she hadn't been throwing up. She wasn't breathing weird. The doctors didn't say a whole lot to me. That's a whole other thing.
We'll dig into that for a second. What do you mean the doctors didn't say a whole lot to you?
We had one resident come in and she talked to my daughter. She was a type 1 as well. And she was showing her pump and everything. But nobody said anything about DKA. Nobody said anything about how long to expect to be there. None of that. And, you know, my husband was kind of in denial. I was like just a mess on another planet. I was keeping it together outwardly, but inwardly it was like, oh my God. And so we didn't really know what was going on or what to expect. They didn't give her insulin for quite some time, which was insane to me. But again, I didn't know how it worked. And so I went back and read through the notes, and one of the doctors said she was in DKA and one of the other ones didn't. So
I guess the one that said that she wasn't won, because I don't think they would have let her out of there that quickly.
I don't either, which is fine. I don't want her to have been that sick, obviously.
No, of course. It's just interesting to not get
right.
Yeah. Agreement on it. What do you mean about your husband being in denial? Was he like just talking about the football game and be like, we're almost out of here? Or was like, what do you mean by that?
No, he's very protective over her, and rightfully so. And those were his words, that he was in denial for quite some time. Like, we were not the best team together for a few months thereafter.
How did it shake out? One of you was in a panic and one of you pretended it was all cool? Today's episode is brought to you by Omnipod. We talk a lot about ways to lower your A1C on this podcast. Did you know that the Omnipod 5 was shown to lower A1C? That's right. Omnipod 5 is a tube-free automated insulin delivery system, and it was shown to significantly improve A1C and time in range for people with type 1 diabetes when they switched from daily injections. My daughter is about to turn 21 years old, and she has been wearing an Omnipod every day since she was 4. It has been a friend to our family, and I think it could be a friend to yours. If you're ready to try Omnipod 5 for yourself or your family, use my link now to get started. Omnipod.com/juicebox. Get that free Omnipod 5 starter kit today. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. The Dexcom G7 is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and it features a lightning fast 30-minute warm-up time. That's right. From the time you put on the Dexcom G7 till the time you're getting readings, 30 minutes. That's pretty great. It also has a 12-hour grace period, so you can swap your sensor when it's convenient for you. All of that on top of it being small, accurate, incredibly wearable, and light. These things, in my opinion, make the Dexcom G7 a no-brainer. The Dexcom G7 comes with way more than just this. Up to 10 people can follow you. You can use it with type 1, type 2, or gestational diabetes. It's covered by all sorts of insurances. And this might be the best part. It might be the best part. Alerts and alarms that are customizable so that you can be alerted at the levels that make sense to you. Dexcom.com/juicebox. Links in the show notes. Links at juiceboxpodcast.com to Dexcom and all of the sponsors. When you use my links, you're supporting the production of the podcast and helping to keep it free and plentiful.
I wouldn't say in a panic so much. I was just like, and with everything, I want to know as much as I can know about this, figure out how to start to live normally with it, move on to the next thing. And he was kind of like, I mean, not to speak for him, but from my perspective, I wish that this didn't happen. She's still a normal kid, which of course she was, but I don't know how to explain what I mean.
No, you are explaining it. Keep going.
He was just like, well, we don't need to. I was big on, okay, we need to check her finger, see what she is before she eats, because they wouldn't give us a Dexcom.
Mm-hmm. His take on that was what?
What was that?
When you said you wanted to be checking your finger a lot, but he
thought I was doing too much and I thought he wasn't doing enough. I guess that's a good way to explain it all.
Okay. A year later, what was the truth?
Somewhere in the middle.
Did he come around? I mean, by that, I mean, did you yell at him and then make him do what you wanted? How did that work? Yeah. I'm not even going to lie. I'm working on it. I have a really big control problem, which kind of works out for this
with managing this. But, in other areas of my life, it's not always served me well. But we're so much better at it now, a year later.
Why do you think? What do you think happened that made you better at it?
This podcast.
Oh.
And that's part of why I had emailed you a few months ago, is because our education from the office, I'm so torn on this because I feel like it wasn't enough. And I had posted about this in the Facebook group and somebody pointed out, they don't have the time and people don't all have the want to know. Mm-hmm. They don't want to necessarily understand all this. And so they just kind of, for lack of better words, dumb it down and simplify it just to get people out the door and started. Like they just told us about carb counting. We didn't get anything about proteins. We didn't get anything about fats. We didn't get anything about how basal could be different at different times of the day. None of it, just straight carb counting.
I have to say that after a fair amount of time being involved in this, I agree with that sentiment that it's possible there's no good way to attack it.
Yeah.
Right. But still, I don't think that's an excuse for not doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you have to lay it out in a way that is, something that people can absorb in those first couple of days, which is obviously already like a crazy time to begin with. They still deserve to hear, they deserve to know whether they can do something with it or not. That's another story altogether.
Right.
If I was on a cliff and there were 1,000 lemmings walking off the cliff, I think it'd still be incumbent upon me to go, hey guys, you are about to fall to your death, even though that's what they're there to do. And that's probably what they're going to do. And this might be a weird, maybe I'm not doing a good job here, but you know what I mean? Like there's a way this is going to be handled by a certain number of people, a different way by another number. I still think you should explain to them what's ahead of them. And then, you know what I mean?
To their defense, they could have told me all of this information that I learned on the podcast in that day. I mean, we were there for 2 hours and then we were sent home. I wouldn't have processed any of it. So
I believe that too. I completely understand what you're saying. And but that's a weird thing to me. Like, if they would have done it, I don't know if it would have helped.
No, it probably wouldn't have. And since then, we're a year into it now. I've made adjustments myself and it's worked out great. It's been fine. They would still have us at a 70 to 250 range. We don't do that. There's been no other education given besides we went to one pump class, which was just different reps there saying, hey, this is what we have. Pick one kind of thing.
Then this is the extension of that conversation. Then, like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that telling you if they knew wouldn't be that valuable. Maybe.
Yes.
But now it's starting to sound like they didn't tell you because they didn't know.
And they might. Yeah. I don't know.
This is very interesting. How are you supposed to know that coming in cold? Right.
That was my biggest thing. And that's how I ended up. I was in a different Facebook group. It's like the mom T1D group or whatever. And a bunch of people said, oh, you got to listen to the podcast. And I already listened to podcasts. So that was fine with me. And I drank it all up. And I was like, oh, okay. This is why this is happening after she's having, say, pizza.
Okay.
If I can understand why, and there's not always an understanding of why something is happening, but I learned so much more that I wasn't getting otherwise, and things started making sense. And it made it, I don't want to say easier because it's not easy. When you understand it, it's for lack of a better word, a little easier to understand what to do and where to go.
Yeah. I have to tell you, quite honestly, I didn't think you were going to say the podcast when I asked you what changed things for you. I thought maybe you and your husband just came to an agreement, or he started seeing something differently, or you backed off a little. I thought there was a story in there like that.
Oh, no, I'm dead serious. I listened to all of it. The bold beginnings, the math behind I've listened to, I couldn't tell you how many times. The protein and fats. The one specific episode with Jeremy, the Control IQ Ninja, I've listened to that probably 10 times, and I've taken notes each time to try and get her settings just right. And we're a year in and she's got 5.4 A1C. So
wow, that's great. Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, Jeremy's episode he's a great example of like right place, right time, found the podcast, and I got to like get his story out of him, because you come to realize, like, I haven't talked to Jeremy in a while, right? Like, but I don't imagine that his level of involvement with diabetes is the same as it was back then. But in that moment, he found himself digging in. He came to some great understanding. He knew how to explain it. It was really accessible as far as his style of communication, And there was, like, we were able to record it and put it down for somebody. And awesome. I can't tell you how many people have been helped by that one. I actually want to tell you that I am currently working with Tandem to build out a pro tip series for their pump. So
even better. I love it so much.
Hopefully that'll help.
Absolutely. I've learned between the podcast and a few different creators on TikTok. Yeah. I have learned so much, and there is no way, based off of the information we are getting from our endocrinologist and what I had known, had I not listened to anything, there is not a doubt in my mind that she would be doing as well as she is now.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And it's awesome that you went and looked for it as well, because you could have just said, hey, it was 70 to 250, right on, I got it. And no shade on him, but if you and your husband were thinking the same way, this sounds like what you'd be doing right now. Because some people are just more ready to, it's funny, I called you amenable earlier, but you weren't amenable to any of that. You were like, no, that's bullshit. We're fixing this.
I don't want it to sound like I'm saying he didn't care about her and he was making dangerous decisions. He absolutely was not. He was more focused on, she's still an 8-year-old, let her be an 8-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
And I was more like, she is an 8-year-old. We need to figure out how to make this adapt to her and try and keep her a little steady instead of up, down, up, down, up, down.
Right. I didn't take you that way. I don't think anybody else did either.
Okay, good.
I'm just trying to say that, like, for somebody who's more floating in that direction, if someone tells you 70 to 250 is good, why would you question it? You're like, oh, yeah. I mean,
I didn't for about a month.
I didn't question it for like a year. And then I started thinking, like, I actually found myself telling this story the other day. I finally started worrying about the higher blood sugars and the bouncing and everything. And I said to the nurse practitioner, like, I don't know, I feel like this is bad. Her blood sugars are high a lot. And she said, oh, high blood sugars aren't a problem for young kids.
Oof.
And I was like, in the beginning, I went, oh, okay, that's good news. Like there must be a physiological reason why high blood sugars aren't bad for kids. And then it finally, it just stuck with me, and I pushed, and then I back to them again. I was like, what do you mean by that exactly? She just said, well, dire circumstances from type 1 diabetes don't come for 30 years. And I was like, oh, she just means she's young. I said, 30 years from now, she'll be 32, right?
Right.
Not really even your life going yet. You're telling me my daughter's going to have dire circumstances from her diabetes when she's 32?
Right.
And you feel like that's comforting? You might completely misunderstand this whole thing. And I don't know where you're at in the country. I'm not even asking you, but we were going to a pretty popular mainstream, children's hospital. So
we're in South Carolina. I had to learn really quick to advocate for her, and which is not a problem for me. I don't have a problem doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, they didn't even want to give us a Dexcom. I'm sure they have some sort of equation where they figure out, basal rates and all that. And, they said, okay, well, let's see. She was discharged. We went in on a Wednesday night. She was discharged Thursday morning. Friday night, they said, okay, well, you don't need to check her finger overnight after this weekend or after Friday.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that's weird. I'm not doing that, but okay. And so I set an alarm for, I don't know, I think it was every 3 hours or something overnight. And, I'm reading in these groups, get a Dexcom, get a Dexcom, get a Dexcom. Because she was also nervous and she was wanting to poke her finger way more than she probably needed to. But I was like, you know what? This is for you. If this is going to make you feel better, go right on ahead. And so it was 2 a.m. and her blood sugar was 31. And I was like, oh, I feel like that's not great. And she was a little combative. It was hard to get her to get some juice in. We got it handled. And I called them the next day and I said, can you give me a reason why you won't give me a Dexcom other than you wanting us to learn the traditional way in case the Dexcom were to fail?
Yeah. And
which, whatever, I kind of understand. But I said, there's no good reason you can't just give her a Dexcom. So can we come get one, please? Well, we did.
And they said yes?
Yeah. And to be fair, though, I wasn't really going to let them tell me no. So.
Yeah. Okay. So they pushed back, you pushed harder.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Interesting, because the guy I interviewed yesterday said that they told him a year.
Yeah.
You can't have a CGM for a year.
Yeah. They tried that. And I said no.
A year. Don't you think? Boy, I'll tell you, anybody who has diabetes could tell you that in about 3 days, you figured out all the stuff that can go wrong.
Right. Then that was my thing. I'm like, okay, well, we understand how to do this. This part isn't rocket science. I said, it's going to improve her quality of life. Well, can't you just give it to me? I said, because they just said, oh, well, insurance, this and that. I had already looked up my insurance. There wasn't that. So we got one and it's been fine.
Boy, I'll tell you, a lot of overlap this week with the episodes and the stuff that I said when I was away giving my talk, because 2006, Arden's diagnosed. We started looking for a pump for her before kindergarten. So she was around 4. So this is 2009, 2010-ish, right? And, we decided we wanted to have a pump before she went to school. We went to the pump fair at the hospital.
Yeah.
This is very early on. I believe that Omnipod was just getting going or had only been going for, a short amount of time. And they had all these pumps laid out on tables, right? Just beautiful everywhere. I should point out that I think that every one of those pumps that was there probably doesn't exist anymore, except for
I was going to say, probably not.
Yeah, except for the Omnipod, right? It was kind of a conference room, but it was pretty big. There were a lot of tables in the middle, a lot of people milling around, probably 50, 70 people in there looking at pumps. The back of the room had this kind of weird cutout. It was sort of triangular in the corner for some reason. There was a table in it. And as I was looking around, my wife was looking around, I looked up and I saw this table on the other side of the room. There was something on it. I started walking towards it, but as I got closer and closer to it, I realized this is not part of the display. This is like the crap table at the event where they threw all the stuff. But I kept walking to it for some reason. And as I got closer, I saw, honestly, I saw an Omnipod that it looked like somebody threw on the table. It was the Omnipod box and a dummy controller, and you see there for demo reasons, and a pod. The best I can explain is it looked like somebody was tasked to put it on the table, got about 5 or 6 feet from the corner and was like, screw it, and just pitched it into the corner. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I walked over and I picked through it and I looked at it And I took it back to my wife and I was like, hey, yo, check this out. This is not tubed, first of all. I think that's a big deal. And he's like, and it's disposable. I kind of stood there and, philosophized with my wife for a second. I was like, well, they'll update this one day and we'll just get the updates. Like there won't be any like, oh no, that's the one you bought. You're stuck with it for a while. And then we took it to the practitioner and we're like, we found ours. We're getting this one. Oh, Arden can't use that. She's too lean. She's too young. She doesn't use enough insulin. And we pushed back and said like, no, you know what? Like we're going to do this, like this is the one we're going to try. And she pushed harder. Then she went and got like, somebody above her to push on us. That person looked us in the face and gave us like, just looked at us and was like 4 years. And I was like, what? She goes, you're stuck with this for 4 years if you pick it. Your insurance won't let you switch. You're stuck. Now I realize everything's different now. But like this is the level that they were like leaning into it with. It comes out later. They just didn't know anything about it. And they didn't want to look like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yep. I figured that out real fast myself.
I was like, you are kidding me. And then meanwhile, you're at home with a 31 blood sugar and your 9-year-old like being like, is this going to be every day of my life?
That was my thought. I'm like, I'm never going to sleep again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Plus, you got other impediments on top of you, the OCD stuff. And like that must have hit you really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got it figured out, though. And then we got her on the Mobi mid-December. So she was chugging along less than 2 months after diagnosis. So
it's crazy that the people who you believe are there to help you are the ones blocking.
You have to fight the hardest against. Yeah. Truly.
And they're blocking you from getting to the help.
Yeah.
And then for some reason that if you ask them to contextualize that they have none, like, why do I have to wait a year?
That's, And that was my strategy, honestly, because I knew what were they going to say.
All right. How's your daughter doing with all this?
Really good. I mean, she has her days, obviously. She changed her pump site the other day and it, I don't know, ended up being a really sore spot. She wanted to change it, but she didn't want to change it because it hurts. And we have moments like that. But for the most part, she does really, really well. When she got diagnosed, it was actually during fall break. So we weren't even in school. And that Monday, so what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days after diagnosis, she was back to school. And I had never met the school nurse before. I walked into her office with a bag of supplies and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. And
what'd she say?
She just kind of looked at me because then, of course, I had started crying. My husband was going into what he thought he should say. And we were still not on the same page. It had been 5 days. And this poor nurse, I love her to death. She's amazing. Was just kind of looking at us like, what the hell? It's 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. Can we take a minute? But, she's been great.
You were like, no, I don't have a minute. I'm in a panic. Thank you.
Correct.
Yeah. What did it feel like? Because when I dropped Arden off, I felt like for sure she was going to die there.
I was sobbing walking out and I said, I don't even know how to take care of her. How am I supposed to trust this stranger to take care of her? Oh,
I had that same exact thought. I can't do this right.
Yeah.
I've been at it for 4 years and I'm still figuring out, or I don't know how long it had been then, maybe three years. And I was like, I still don't really know what I'm doing. You're going to do it? That's
right.
Yeah. You're not going to care like the way I do.
She's right. And not that I knew what I was doing either, especially 5 days later, but she has turned out to be, I could cry talking about her. She's also an ER nurse. She was just, I don't know. She's the best.
That's awesome. What do you think about her made her great? Is it empathy? Is it her understanding, her willingness to communicate?
All of it.
Really?
All of it. She has the same sense of dark humor that I have. She added the Follow app onto her personal phone, kept an eye on her. And she was like, I want to learn what she looks like when she's low. Because this school, I think, has 700-800 kids. And my daughter I think she was the second diabetic at this point. And then 2 weeks later, they got another one, which is strange. But she did whatever I asked. I didn't have to fight her. We worked together on some things, especially for gym class. We were like, oh, well, this didn't work last week. What if we tried this week? And she was just great.
She's one nurse for 700 kids?
Yeah.
And she still put this kind of effort into it.
Yeah.
And yet I hear stories from other people, they can't get their nurses to do anything.
Yeah. There is a health room assistant too, but she's not she's not a nurse. She's great too. I love her to pieces. Yeah, Emily is she's something else.
That's extra special. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that there's going to be some education when your husband comes back for him? Because he left 6 months after her diagnosis, right? Ish. Am I about right on that?
About 10-ish months. No, he's good now.
He's good. He knows what to do now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He'll be 100%. Fine when he gets back. What about her? Like, what level of, I guess, what percentage do you think she's taking care of things and what percentage are you helping?
That's a good question. And maybe you'll be able to help answer it. So we had a little incident with a sub nurse at school. So we had her paperwork actually changed to self-management. Mm. That being said, she's not out there winging it on her own. I text her at snack time. I text her at lunchtime. We text all the time. For a while, she was not feeling her lows, and she's starting to really get pretty good at that. So she carries like her stuff with her, and usually after recess, she knows to have a little treat. She knows how to carb count. If I forget to text, 15 minutes before lunch, she's texting me, "Hey, we forgot to do pre-bolus." So she's doing great. She does all her own site changes. She was doing all of that even with the injections the day we got home.
Well, she sounds like she's doing well for a year. And
yeah,
honestly. Yeah. How are her friends handling it? Is she having any trouble with, classmates, people being crappy to her, or?
No, luckily she actually made a little PowerPoint presentation last year and taught her class about it because, her stuff was beeping occasionally, and they've all been really receptive. There was one little boy this year who brought in brownies, and his mom stopped me in the car line, and she was like, he wanted me to tell you that, we need to make sure that we have the carb count because Adeline has to have insulin and she can still have it. We just have to know, the carb count and give her some insulin ahead of time. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. And he knew he had it right too.
He did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw he was paying attention. It must have been a hell of a PowerPoint.
I guess so. I don't know how to make those. So she was on her own.
I don't know how to make. What do you do? Are you stay home or you have a job? What do you do during the day?
I stay while I work from home.
Okay. And so it's not trouble for you to kind of keep abreast of what's happening with her blood sugar?
Not at all.
Do you find yourself communicating with her while she's at school?
Yeah.
Texting?
Well, yes. Only, I'm not texting her to say, hey, how's science class going? But,
right.
I have my alerts set. I know what time she goes to lunch or recess or gym class. And I glance at it before she has one of those things, see if we need to be doing anything. And we kind of handle it through there.
What's your backup? Like, if something goes wrong, how do you have it set up? Do you call directly to the nurse? The nurse is obviously following as well, but doesn't mean they see it right away. How do you do all that? Have you not needed it yet?
No, we haven't really needed it yet. Luckily, Emily's really good. Like I have her personal phone number and I've kind of made her my best friend now. So she's always really responsive. The only issue we had was that one day when she was out sick and there was a sub that didn't want to give her insulin for her lunch because she had already had insulin that morning.
Oh, one time? Good enough?
Yeah. I said, that's not how it works.
Was she older?
No.
Okay. It's misinformed a bit.
Yeah.
Did she work in a hospital previously?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Trying to think where that idea came from.
I don't know, but we fixed that real quick. Because we kind of got into it a little bit and I was like, no, we're not playing this game.
I don't know if I'm proud of this or not, or if I'm ashamed, but in high school, Arden used the nurse's office as a place to like go swap a pod if she needed to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she was not involved with these people at all.
Yeah.
One day I realized that one of the nurses called Arden's endocrinologist for something.
Oh, I feel like, did you do an episode about this? Because I feel like I listened to it and was yelling along in the car.
I don't know, but that lady might still be afraid of the telephone because I lost my head, Yep,
I did too. We had an emergency 504 meeting with the nursing director for the district, everybody. And I was like, you guys aren't touching her anymore. It's Emily or it's nobody.
I was like, you got to mind your own business. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. 100%.
I was like, I don't care. I really don't. I have absolutely no care at all in the world why you thought it was okay to contact her doctor without talking to me first. And
no, absolutely not.
It's crazy. And then, by the way, I've heard other people like, oh, it was nice. They got a hold of the doctor. And then I'm like, maybe it's just the way I think of it. But like, That seemed like a line to me, you know?
I don't even really trust the doctor at this point. So that would be a hard no for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. The doctor, if I line all the years up and really look through it, didn't want to increase Arden's thyroid medication when she needed it, misdiagnosed her thyroid thing as a heart problem, told us her 8A1C was okay when she was younger, on and on and on and on. And by the way, lovely people. If I met them right now, I'd sit down and have dinner with them. Awesome people.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But so now I got those people and the school nurse, and they're going to autonomously make decisions about Arden without talking to me even?
Yeah.
Out of your
I've
mind?
lost my mind.
Yeah. I wouldn't. What?
No.
And I think I started out okay on the call. I want to be clear. I don't think I jumped on the call. I don't think I was yelling while the phone was being.
I started out that way too. Yeah. I did not finish that way.
Yeah. Well, I thought, and then I was just like, oh, good. You thought. It's great. Go make your own goddamn baby.
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh.
You want something to take care of. Get a puppy. Leave my kid alone.
Yeah.
Here's what I need you to do. It's all written down right here. It's very simple. Just do.
And that was my thing. I said, it was made clear to me that you did not even read the orders that are there. And it just snowballed from there.
I have to tell you, not only that, at this point in Arden's care at school, these people were not involved with her at all.
Yeah. That's even weirder.
Like, how did I get in your crosshairs today?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, were you bored? Like, was this before they put games on your phone? Like, what's happening exactly? Oh my gosh. Anyway. All right. She has Tandem Mobi. I want to just say tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox if you'd like to learn more about that. She used Dexcom with that, right?
Yeah, the G7.
Dexcom.com/juicebox. And where are you at with the technology? You love it? You hate it?
Oh, I love it.
You see room for improvement? Like, what's your feedback on all of it?
The Dexcom, we've had some fights, but overall, it's great. I can't complain. It's better than not having it.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. It feels like you're only in it for a year. So it's interesting to hear from you on that, because you had enough of an experience in the beginning to know that not having a CGM is tough. Right. And then and you've only been using it for, I would imagine like 11 months now. Yeah. Right. And technology, nothing's perfect. It's got its limitations. It, probably fails sometimes or whatnot. But it's interesting to hear your feedback on it because you're so new. You're not like entrenched. You don't have a ton of, bias yet.
I really don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
We're doing the best we can every day.
No, it sounds like you're doing pretty well. Do you not feel that way?
We're figuring it out.
Do you feel accomplished at this point with it?
Yeah, I don't feel panicked about it anymore. Even, this summer we have a trampoline in our backyard, and that proved to be quite challenging over the summer. And I got to a point where I'm like, I've tried this, I've tried that. I'm not getting it right, but there's got to be a way we can make this work. And we had an appointment over the summer because they still have us go every 3 months. And I was talking to the endocrinologist. I'm like, do you have any suggestions? She was like, oh, well, have you tried doing this with basal, doing that with basal? And I'm like, yes, I've tried all of that. And she kind of just stared at me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That was the end?
I'm on my own with this again. And
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm just imagining.
I was just like, are you for real?
Have you tried a temp basal? I have. Okay, well, we're done, I guess.
We kind of got into I don't want to call it an argument, but she was trying to tell me the pump couldn't do something that I knew that it could. And it got to the point where she took my daughter's phone, left the room with the diabetes educator. They had a little powwow somewhere and came back and basically had to be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I know. We left the appointment and my husband goes, you do not like her, do you? I said, oh, is it that obvious?
We Googled it and figured out you were right. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
What were you trying to tell them the phone did? Do you remember? Or the app did? Do you remember?
That you could set a temp basal for however long or.
Wait, your diabetes educator didn't think you could set a temp basal for a certain amount of time?
Yeah. They thought you could only do it. I don't know. It was right after Tandem came out with a Mobi that you could.
Oh.
They did the Control IQ Plus update or something. I don't remember exactly what it was called. But
in fairness to her, they had just updated the software to do that. It didn't do it before.
No, it did. It just did it for longer now. And she thought it didn't do it at all. And so I thought, okay, well.
Again, doesn't fill you with confidence. Forget the temp basal thing and the bouncing and the trampoline. Look, put all that aside. It makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm alone in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the bigger problem.
They couldn't even print out they can look up the pump settings on however they do it. They couldn't even print out the right ones to give to school. And so I was having to call back and get the new ones mailed. And it was just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of fine that I've figured it out on my own and I make the settings, I adjust them myself. She doesn't seem to care. I mean, what is she going to argue with me? She has a 5.4 A1C. What is there to argue? Right. She doesn't have a bunch of lows. So
yeah, you're not getting to that A1C dishonestly.
I feel bad for the new families that go in there who don't know what they're doing, who don't know to look for the podcast. They're out there drowning, I feel.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure they are. There's a lot of people, and I don't mean just because they haven't found me, but like there are a lot of people struggling with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much more than you think. And all you can really do is like tell people and hope they are able to put it together,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Geez. It's important to remember, I think, the limitations of most things in life come down to humans at some point. Like at some point or another, you're going to bump into the chain where you're counting on a person to know a thing, to care, to have the communication skills to, get it out to you if they do know and care. But you're also going to bump into people who are just at work, couldn't possibly care less, don't have the knowledge at all, or misguided somehow, are just poor communicators and don't know what they're talking about. And then they kind of turn that on you and they're like, oh, it's your fault. Imagine this has only been 11, 12 months for you. But imagine if you never found any of this information out and a decade from now, your daughter's struggling and someone turns to you and says, well, you guys are non-compliant. You're not doing what we're telling you to do.
Oh, I'd be so pissed off.
Right. But you might also believe it.
Right.
Yep. So I don't know. There's part of me that thinks the machines are going to save us sometimes. If it hasn't become obvious already listening to the podcast for a year, it's become obvious to me after making it for 11 years that it's completely random who's going to be good at this and who's not going to be. And I mean on a professional side of it. And you can't, imagine you're diagnosed. For everybody listening, you or your kid are diagnosed, right? And the hospital you go to, what they tell you, where they send you, what the people at that place understand. Are they going to tell you, here's a CGM, go home? Or are they going to tell you can't have a CGM for a year? Anywhere in between on their understanding and their compassion and their capacity to educate. There's a spectrum of that. And you are not in charge of which person you land on that gives you that information.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is literally like a lottery, whether you end up with a good endo or not.
Yeah. And I wish people, and I say this outside of diabetes too, weren't afraid to question things.
Yeah, well, that's another human limitation. Some people can't speak up. I'm not saying like they don't have the juice or whatever. Like it's just, some people are not wired for that.
No. Mm-mm.
Like I said, like there are just some people who are told what to do and they're rule followers. I think it's a pretty simple way to say
it. Outside of my kids, I'm kind of one of those people. But when it comes to my kids, no.
Yeah, it doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
And by the way, if they're listening, this is not a judgment on you either. I just think this is how it goes. It's like, it's like that thing where they hold up the picture of the dress and it's purple or it's yellow or something. Yeah. And like sometimes you see one and sometimes you see the other. Sometimes you react a certain way and sometimes you don't. I don't think it's because you're not paying attention or you don't care. Yeah. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's just, people's personalities. So imagine what happens when a very get along person bumps into an endocrinologist that doesn't know what they're doing. That ends up with 10 years from now, your A1C is like 8 and you're like, oh, I'm doing good. They told me I was doing good.
Yeah.
You don't know any better and they don't know any better. And then your 2-year-old is 32 one day and says, hey, why are there clouds floating in front of my eyes?
Right. Well, and that's why I was getting so frustrated once I started listening to more episodes. I'm like, why are we not telling people this?
That's why I'm making the podcast, honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Very beginning, my wife was like, I don't know about all this. And I was like, are you comfortable knowing this and not telling other people?
Right.
I was like, because I'm just not. We got lucky and figured it out. And now we're going to go like just off and live our lives and know all those people are still like being diagnosed or forget even being diagnosed at this point. Like plenty of people. I found myself telling a story this weekend and I think it fits here. So give me a second if you don't mind.
Mm-mm.
Before the podcast was, I guess, somehow online known as a person that if you got in contact with, I had this kind of sharp 45-minute chat I could give you on the phone. It would kind of put you in the right direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people would often say, see someone online struggling and say, oh, you should reach out to this guy. He might help you. And I ended up on the phone one day with a woman, the best of my recollection, was kind of in her mid 40s, but she was a single mom with like 7 kids, like a lot of kids. And she had type 1. So she had type 1, and she gets on the phone and says, hey, like, I struggle all the time. People said you might be able to help. I gave her the talk, Next day, she reaches back to me and asks if she can text me. I say yes. She sends me a graph. It's super, like, looks so much better. Asks if she can call for a second. And I say, sure. She gets on the phone. We're chatting a little bit. She tells me what she did, how it worked. She was happy. And then she just got angry, like really, like viscerally angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, you all right? And she goes, why didn't anybody tell me this?
Yeah.
And then she kind of started to repeat it.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't anyone tell me? She goes, I have complications. The part I'm not telling you is that, like, during the conversation she shared with me, she was worried not that she wasn't going to see her kids grow up and have grandchildren. Like, she wasn't sure she was going to get them out of high school. Like she was worried about dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And over again, the part that stuck with me, that one sentence, why didn't anyone tell me this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I feel about it now. Like, I sort of feel like with diabetes information, I feel like this. There's a volcano in town and it's about to erupt. And if I don't tell you all, you're definitely going to get hit by the lava.
Yes.
And if I tell you, some of you are going to get away and some of you are going to decide to stay and some of you might trample each other in the street, but at least you've all got a fair shake to get away from the lava.
Yes.
That's how I feel about this now. So,
yeah.
Because that woman's tone in her voice, she was crying. Why didn't anyone tell me? I've lived with this for 30 years or more. You only talked to me for 45 minutes on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, wasted time, I find that deplorable. I find it deplorable wasting people's time. So,
and that's how I felt listening to the episodes. I would tell my husband, I'd listen to him on the way to the grocery store. I'm like, how, are all these people not knowing this information? Like, this can change everything. It changed our whole way of how we helped her deal with it.
And it's super simple too. Like,
it really is.
Yeah. Let me go on to make this point. I am not some genius telling you some super difficult thing to understand that I just happen to know and no one else knows. And it's basically diabetes common sense. You just have to know enough of it to make sense of it, to put it together before you can regurgitate it. But like, to be a diabetes educator or anywhere in between, to be somebody at a clinician's office who says, come here and we'll help you with your diabetes, who doesn't know at least as much as my dumb ass does,
right,
is really disgusting. It really is. Anyway, I'm glad you found the information. It was helpful.
Yeah, me too.
Seriously. If there's any other nice things you want to say about me now, would be a good time. I'm just kidding. Is there anything else?
I mean, I just really like the podcast. And to everybody, every new mom that comes on the Facebook group, oh, we just got diagnosed. Tag the podcast. Tag it in TikToks. There's a really fun girl that I follow on TikTok. I've been telling her she needs to come on here. Addie Taylor, I think her last name is. I know Marley has tried to tell her to go on there.
Marley's on the last week.
I was just listening to part 2 this morning, actually.
Yeah. Wait, is Addie the one who does does she have dark hair and she puts her devices on a lot? Is that her?
Yes.
Oh, I like her. I feel like I've been in contact with her. I don't know.
Oh, I tagged you and she was like, no, I can't do that. And you said, why not?
Oh,
and I said, yeah, Addie, why not? She's about to run the New York City Marathon too. So.
Yeah, some people don't have long form. They don't want to sit and talk or whatever. Maybe listen, let's be honest. Maybe she thinks I'm an asshole and she's trying to be polite.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, you have
you
no
never
idea,
know. But
right?
We've learned so much from her too. And so it's great.
Yeah.
It's a really good, I hate to say it's a really good community to be a part of, but I have not met one person, whether it be through a TikTok, a Facebook group, whatever, that has not been willing to help.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think that the community part is super important.
Mm-hmm. So,
Can I ask one more question then?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you more comfortable in chaos?
Yes.
And does Calm feel like something bad's about to happen?
Yes. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Catholic by any chance?
No.
No? Okay. So this is just the divorce thing.
I mean, yeah, it's probably, yeah.
Any drinkers in the family growing up?
Yes.
Have you ever looked at the ACEs list?
Oh, I score high on that.
Yeah. You've already checked that out.
Yeah, I have. My therapist had me do that. Uh-huh. Yep.
It's weird because it feels like you're playing an online game where you're winning because you're like, oh yeah, that's me. But then you realize
I was like, oh, I scored so good. And my therapist was like, no. This is not as funny as you think it is.
Yeah.
But, you got to laugh.
Yeah. So you have that going on. Blah, blah, blah. So how is that translated into your parenting? Do you look into?
I joke now that my kids are going to have to go to therapy because I'm too involved.
Oh, okay. Way too nice to them.
Yeah.
We never had anything bad happen. One time I almost fell, but my mom threw herself under me before I hit the ground.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
I just bounced off my mom and came right back up again to my feet.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
It's interesting to know that. Okay. All right. I appreciate you sharing that with me here at the end. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hold on 1 second for me. I wish you would have been horrible because I could have called this episode Cecilia, you're breaking my heart or something like that.
Oh, sorry to disappoint.
No, I don't think you should apologize for it. But really, if you were just a dick one time, it would have been awesome for the title.
It's didn't
not
have it
too
in me
late
today.
to say something terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
It's too early in the morning.
It is, isn't it? All right, hold on 1 second. Dexcom sponsored this episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Learn more about the Dexcom G7 at my link, dexcom.com/juicebox. Did you know that Skin Grip has donated over $100,000 in scholarships to help people with diabetes? The people at Skin Grip, they know what it's like to live with type 1 diabetes. They know what it's like when your devices fall off at the absolute worst time, and they're here to help. skingrip.com/juicebox. Save 20% off your first order when you use my link. That's what you get for being a Juicebox Podcast listener. The podcast is also sponsored today by Omnipod 5. Omnipod 5 is a tube-free automated insulin delivery system that's been shown to significantly improve A1C and time in range for people with type 1 diabetes when they've switched from daily injections. Learn more and get started today at omnipod.com/juicebox. At my link, you can get a free starter kit right now. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're not already subscribed or following the podcast in your favorite audio app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do that now. Seriously, just to hit follow or subscribe will really help the show. If you go a little further in Apple Podcasts and set it up so that it downloads all new episodes, I'll be your best friend. And if you leave a 5-star review, I'll probably send you a Christmas card. Would you like a Christmas card? If you've ever heard a diabetes term and thought, okay, but what does that actually mean? You need the Defining Diabetes series from the Juicebox Podcast. Defining Diabetes takes all of those phrases and terms that you don't understand and makes them clear. Quick and easy episodes. Find out what bolus means, basal, insulin sensitivity, and all of the rest. There has to be over 60 episodes of Defining Diabetes. Check it out now in your audio player or go to juiceboxpodcast.com and go up into the menu. Hey, do you need support? I have some stuff for you. It's all free. Juiceboxpodcast.com, click on support in the menu. Let's see what you get there. A1C and blood glucose calculator. People love that. That's actually, I think, the most popular page on the website some months. A list of great endocrinologists from listeners. That's from all over the country. There's a link to the private Facebook group, to the Circle community, and we have a fantastic thing there. American Sign Language. There's a great sign language interpreter who did the entire Bold Beginning series in ASL. So if you know anybody who would benefit from that, please send them that way. Just go to juiceboxpodcast.com and click on support. While you're there, check out the guides like the pre-bolusing guide, fat and protein insulin calculator, thyroid, GLP, caregiver burnout. You should go to the website, click around a little bit on those menus. It really, there's a lot more there than you think. The Juicebox Podcast is edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com. If you'd like your podcast to sound as good as mine, check out Rob at WrongWayRecording.com.